Welcome to Kitchen Spoons and Combat Booth, here with our special guest, Adjutant General Harder.
Certainly from my chair and having deployed 4 times, we know what it's like. We want to make sure that the families are aware of the things that are out there. They can come and participate. They can always reach out for support.
Yellow Ribbon does a really good job at trying to help the soldiers out.
We don't know if they're struggling unless they communicate. So the big thing is communication.
Definitely. I think communication is something that's really hard for people. It's so vital in every situation. We can't help you if you don't allow us to help you.
Exactly, Gabby.
Welcome to Kitchen Spoons and Combat Boots. I'm your host, Gabby Beyor, here with our special guest, Adjutant General, Major General Harder.
Yes, I'm happy to be here with you, Gabby.
Me too.
All right, yeah, Major General Hank Harder, the brand new Adjutant General of Vermont.
All right, let's get into some questions.
Okay.
So as Adjutant General, what are your goals for making sure soldiers and their families are supported, especially over deployments?
Really good question, because we're constantly working really hard to support our airmen, our soldiers. And deployments can be a stress-producing time, the family separation and that kind of thing. The good thing is we have incredible, as you know, family readiness folks in both the Army Guard and the Air Guard. So they're there to support the families, to educate them through the Yellow Ribbon program before a soldier and airman deploys, to let them know about the resources that are there. And a lot of it comes down to the unit level, that the unit and the loved ones from the soldiers and airmen loved ones getting together as a family readiness group to make sure that they are supporting each other. But certainly from my chair and having deployed 4 times, we know what it's like. So we want to make sure that the families are aware of the things that are out there, that they can come and participate in. I think we're going to talk about some of those things later. But also just to know that that they can always reach out for support, because they may not have all the answers, and but we don't know if they're struggling unless they communicate to us. So
Definitely.
The big thing is communication.
Definitely. I think communication is something that's really hard for people, but it's so vital in every situation. We can't help you if you don't allow us to help you.
Exactly, Gabby. Yeah, and it is. You're right. It's hard sometimes, especially New England. New Englanders have a reputation for being self-sustaining, doing everything themselves. But when you have a situation where you have soldiers or airmen and part of your family is gone, everybody needs a little helping hand, and so you have to reach out for that help.
On the same topic, how can spouses and families help out their soldier?
Yeah, I think once again, I think communication is going to come up a lot in this podcast because it is so vitally important. I know communicating with each other about how long the deployment's going to be, what to expect. Certainly for some of our soldiers and airmen, for that's their first time, they don't really know what to expect. So some of that communication within the unit, so that the soldier and the airman is talking to their leadership, some of their senior non-commissioned officers who have done this once, twice, 3 times before, even more, so they know how to anticipate what some of the challenges are. And then we do a really good job of making sure that soldiers and airmen are prepared for what they need to do administratively before they leave, a la, making sure that everything is set up for getting bills paid, and just to try to make the family life as smooth as possible in their absence. And a lot of different families have different roles, but just making sure that with one person gone, what is going to be those gaps that they need to cover while they're gone?
Like a routine.
Exactly.
Like day-to-day basis, here's how it's going to go. And then getting back into a routine with reintegration as soon as their family member is back. Like Yellow Ribbon does a really good job at trying to help those soldiers out before and after, and even mid-deployment.
Absolutely. And that reintegration piece, Gabby, it can be hard because particularly our Army Guard soldiers deploy longer than the Air Guard, but really the amount of time, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, or a year, families get into a rhythm of doing things without that soldier or airman home.
Yeah.
And so that can be a challenge sometimes because, for example, when I was deployed, my wife kind of had the house running without me. And so we want to come back and lend that helping hand. And we kind of upset the apple cart a bit. They're very happy we're home, but it does take a little bit of getting used to being back home for both the family and the soldier and the airman.
Definitely. So moving on to more family programs, events, what are some events that you'd like to see more of in the future?
Yeah, our family programs do such a great job of offering up different events for our families, and military families are special because their soldier or airmen are doing something special. But things like the apple picking and the other outdoor activities, blueberry picking at our various Vermont farms that they're able to visit, those are wonderful. I think the Lake Monster baseball games are really fun. You can go out, and the Lake Monsters do such a great job with some of their marketing and the champ mascot there. And then they're just before game and during game events that just make it fun for the whole family to do. And Vermont, we're in a small state with not a big population center, but our Lake Monsters baseball team does such a great job of welcoming all Vermonters there, but particularly the military family nights. So those are all great events. One thing I was thinking about when I knew that you and I were going to be chatting is the Vermont Green Soccer professional soccer team has begun such a big force here in Vermont. They've done very well. I believe they won their semi-pro league last year. And so if we can get our family programs, and that's something that I will certainly try to help out with, get in with the Vermont Green, our professional soccer team. And soccer, as you know, is such a popular sport here in Vermont. That'd be something else I'd be interested in.
I think that would be really awesome. Like, it's a different way to get kids outdoors into activities like soccer, even baseball too. Like, I think athletics is such an important part of life as an athlete myself.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good opportunity to get kids interested in like a hobby. I think that'd be awesome.
No, and you bring up a great point because being busy, obviously a lot of the kids that are at home, they're going to have school, but sometimes deployments happen over the summer. But keeping busy is really important because it helps make the time go by. So when you're looking forward to your loved one coming home, being busy really helps all of us for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think when my stepfather was deployed, I had softball and like camping stuff I could do. And that really helped me not focus on like, okay, he's been gone for so long. It was more of, okay, I have this many things to do and like he'll be back soon. Like softball season ends and then he'll be back like a month after. Like school starts and then he'll be back soon. Like having that timeline of, okay, I have this thing to do and then he'll be back, instead of I have nothing but thinking about when he'll be back.
Yeah, I think the way you put it is really great, is having these kind of benchmarks or time objectives as opposed to counting each and every day and looking at the calendar every day, making through those series of events. I think that's a really good way to do it.
For these events, if we want to do new ones or like even the ones we already have planned, like the Thunder Road in June, how can we get that information out to families more effectively?
That's a great question. I think our family readiness is really good at thinking about new and innovative ways to communicate with our families. So you have to run the whole gambit, in my view. The good old, for older people like me, the good old snail mail. I love looking at the family readiness newsletters, and that's one way because you'll have the calendar of events there. Obviously, social media is going to be important because so much of your generation and my generation now are on our devices. So that's a good way to get information out. And then the emails. I think we do a good job of collecting with families that want to provide that information, their cell phones and emails. So there's all those different ways of communicating, but I think we just have to run the gambit because some people are kind of dialed into technology and others less so.
I think also making sure that the unit leaders have that information ready and available and like have the details. That's so important because they're able to push it out to their people. And word of mouth is really powerful.
Yeah, Gabby, I can't wait until we get you signed up, because you're going to be a great leader in the Guard should you choose to serve. But you're absolutely right, because that unit fabric, that is the folks that they're already communicating to, the other family members of that particular unit. So that's brilliant, and that's probably the best way to communicate.
Speaking of leadership, in your opinion, what makes a good leader?
There are so many aspects of being a good leader. The probably one of the biggest things is having a caring leader. Most all of our leaders, whether they're a senior NCO or an officer or a senior officer, like I said earlier, I've deployed. I've gone through that family separation. So knowing what a soldier or airman are going through, having experienced it, is really important. And then I talk a lot about being a servant leader. For me, my job is to support the soldiers and the airmen of the Vermont National Guard in any way I can. And the biggest way to do that is give them the time and the resources they need to do their jobs. And then also highlight the work-life balance. Life is busy and complicated and stressful. So for us as leaders to try to make things simple for our soldiers and airmen, to not overcomplicate things, and then really lead by example. If we talk a lot about our core values, and so the Army and the Air, we all have core values. The number one thing is integrity. I think for all, you have to start with that. And then service before self. All of our soldiers and our airmen and their families are serving too. They're serving a greater calling, and they've volunteered to do something to serve the greater good. So that service mindset, and then excellence in all we do. We try to do our best job with every event we do, every mission, and we're always not going to be the best, but as long as we're giving it our 100% effort, that's the most important thing.
With the family serving, I think that's why Military Kids Vermont and the Child and Youth Program and family programs as a whole is so important, because the families are serving with their soldiers. I'm a military kid myself. It's hard. Deployments are hard. I'm going to be going to college and my stepdad's going to be deployed, and that's going to be difficult. So it's important to get those kids and those families into programs where they are with other military kids, especially in Vermont, where we're so spread out. Getting that community, that family, is vital for support and for understanding.
Yeah, and Gabby, the way you're talking about that is really profound, because it's other folks that can relate to what they're going through, and that can be so helpful, because whether a child of a military member is in high school, middle school, or in college, you may have great friends, but if they haven't, if they're not a military family, they may just not be able to relate the same way as a family of a military member. Yeah.
It's very interesting talking to my friends, whether they're down in Maryland. I have friends who are Navy kids, Coast Guard kids, Marine kids, all of that. And I have friends who just don't know anything about it. And our dynamic talking about the military, it's completely new to some people. And it's eye-opening when I have those conversations with those people. And it's wow, I didn't know that you guys did all that, went through all that. I thought it was just one thing, and it really isn't.
Right. And I think, having somebody like you that, your stepdad has gone on deployments before, so you've lived through that, right? And having other military kids be able to share their experiences with maybe a peer that this is their first time, and that probably will be very helpful.
I think that's why I personally like the military appreciation game with the Lake Monsters the most, because I get to see all these military kids. A lot of them are very young. I get to just kind of be the person I wish I had when I was their age. I think that's just something really special. I have a really huge privilege of being able to do.
Well, we're really lucky to have military family members like you that want to come into the Guard and help with some of those family readiness programs. That's awesome.
What's the best lesson that you've learned in your time in the Guard?
Wow, that's a really great question. And I've learned so many lessons, and I know it's going to shock you, but I'm in my 37th year of service, and so I've been around for a while. I think the culture of the Vermont Army and Air National Guard, we have something special going on, and ever since I joined right after college, the amount of support that we give each other at that unit level, it is just something special about the women and men of the Green Mountain Boys and our history, but we treat each other with dignity and respect, and that's what all you can ask. And you feel like you are entering another family, and I think that's the best thing that I've learned, because I look back on my career and the people I've served with, the enlisted members, the officers, the families I've been able to interact with. Things like at the unit level, we would have a squadron Christmas party every year, a holiday party, and being able to see not only the folks that you're serving with at the time and their family members, but folks that were former members of the unit continue to come to this Christmas party that we've had. And it's that kind of thing. And I think of units like the 40th Army Band. And, that's one thing. And I know our family programs, Family Readiness, they publish when our 40th Army Band is out there and playing, because music can be such a great unifier. And so I've now seen, and in my role here at headquarters and going to a number of events, that the smile on people's faces when they see the 40th Army Band and hear them play, and such talented both soldiers but talented musicians. And for example, I went to some of the fair events, and that would be something else. The military fair nights.
I think we do some things like that. I think you'll find like MIFers at the fair occasionally. There is a military appreciation night and days at the Champlain Valley Fair and other fairs in our region as well. But back to your question, I've learned so much about myself, and it's brought my family together, being part of the Vermont Guard. And I hope that's the same experience for everybody. But it's been a wonderful career, and it's gone by really fast. But one of the big elements is just that family connection to our units. I think that's such a great answer. I definitely can relate. I think both my parents, my mom and my stepdad, are in the Guard, and I think it's just such a fun thing for me to be able to be part of. Is the community here is one that you can't have anywhere else. It's definitely a second family. I have uncles that I'm not actually related to, and aunts that I'm not actually related to, that I met through the Guard, or my parents met through the Guard.
That's wonderful. And that speaks volumes, that you look at somebody that is probably a colleague, a fellow soldier of your parents, and that's pretty amazing that you have, both a mom and dad that serve. So thank you for that, because the families truly do serve alongside. They go through the highs and lows of service with their family member, but it is that connection, and you join a bigger family than your nuclear family once you join the military.
It's such a fun and unique experience.
From the mountains of Vermont to missions around the world, this is the voice of your Green Mountain Boys. The Green Mountain Guard podcast takes you behind the scenes of the Vermont National Guard. Real soldiers and airmen, real stories, real impact. Hear from leaders, athletes, warfighters, and the people who make it all happen. Whether you're in uniform, thinking about serving, or just want to know what drives the Green Mountain Boys, this is your front row seat. The Green Mountain Guard podcast. Listen now wherever you get your podcasts.
Any products, services, or brands mentioned are not affiliated with, endorsed by, or sponsored by the Vermont National Guard. All references are for informational purposes only.
All right, so as TAG, how do you plan on keeping and maintaining retention among soldiers?
Keeping and maintaining retention among soldiers. And you're leading right into my top priorities, Gabby, so I appreciate it. No, it is something we're working on every day, every week, every month. And I think one of the big pieces, Gabby, is making sure, as I previously said, is that our soldiers and our airmen have the time to do their jobs that they signed up for, because sometimes other training comes in that's not directly aligned with the job that they really signed up to do. But the other thing is, and something that we have talked a little bit about so far in this podcast, is the work-life balance. I like to talk about the three-legged stool that we all need to be aware of, whether you're in my position, a senior NCO, or our mid-grade leaders, is, everybody that serves in the Vermont Guard, they have some sort of outside life here. So their family, whatever their family composition or their significant others are, so that civilian life, they often have a civilian job outside the Guard, and then they're a military member as well. And so we need to be cognizant that everybody needs time and space to make sure that they have that healthy work-life balance. So that's something we're working on, because if we're in tune to that, we're going to be retaining our soldiers and airmen better. And then also, our units do a really good job with this, and our retention managers. But communicating, as you and I have talked about during this podcast, communicating with our soldiers and airmen about their career goals and aspirations. And sometimes a soldier and airman needs to pivot. They may want to try a different specialty that will keep them engaged and really make their job something that is meaningful to them, so that they, some soldiers and airmen are happy being an infantryman or being a diesel mechanic for their whole career. Others want to try something a little different. So I think we need to be able to present those options. But it is a constantly challenging environment for us to make sure that they want to be a participant in this great Guard. And we need to ask them, what ideas do they have? They want to give their senior NCOs and their commanders about what are good nuggets of retention. And so we do a good job about it. We're very deliberate about it. But it also often comes down to the unit level and that commander and that senior NCO.
That's a really good answer. Now, I'm going to ask you a question that I didn't really prepare you for, but why should someone like my age join the Vermont National Guard?
There are so many opportunities. So the one-word answer would be opportunity, Gabby. And that opportunity to join something and a team that's bigger than yourself, the opportunity to go to United States Army or United States Air Force training and get top-level training in things like cyber or medical or aviation mechanics, any number of jobs, firefighters. Go off, get that training, and then come back and be of service to your state and your nation. And then often things that our soldiers and airmen do, for let's take the example of being a cyber professional. They can then parlay that out into a civilian career. That can be on their resume, and it can help them go forward in life. And to say nothing of I didn't mention the benefits. College is expensive. It sounds like you're going to be a college freshman next year. Is that right? And so being part of the military and our Vermont National Guard tuition benefit program can help somebody graduate with an associate's degree, a bachelor's or a master's, debt-free. And that's really hard to do these days. And that can be a real stress reducer on folks. So there's so many different reasons to be part of the Guard. I can't wait to link you up with a recruiter. I know you have two parents that already serve. I think you want to be a physical therapist. We have those in the Army Guard. So we're going to be scheduling that meeting soon.
Hard sell there, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Now for some fun questions. So, what is your favorite Ben & Jerry's ice cream flavor?
That is a really tough one. There are so many. As we know, Ben & Jerry's has so many likable treats, but I would have to go back to fish food. And I think I was telling you off camera earlier, I went to the University of Vermont, and the band Fish, they actually played one of their very first gigs in my garage apartment in the north end of Burlington. And I'll tell you the date. It was a long time ago. 1984, the fall of 1984 is when they started. So, but that's why I have a connection to fish food.
That's pretty awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I think my favorite is the Cookie Vermonster. Just so much Vermont pride. And I was like, cookie dough ice cream, Vermont, Ben & Jerry's. That's just perfect combination.
That sounds like a wonderful combination.
It's delicious. It's fantastic. Highly recommend it to everybody.
Wonderful.
Okay. Sorry, I forgot what I was asking.
Do you want to ask about what other sports events?
Oh, yes. So going back to events for military kids, or which you can find more information about on the Family Programs website, and other events that we can do, like the Military Appreciation Baseball game, what other events, like sporting events, would you recommend that we look into?
Yeah, Gabby, there's some great ones out there. I've been to the University of Vermont hockey games, and they'll have a military appreciation night, which is really neat. They often will wear special jerseys that are military uniform centric. So those are great opportunities. And a lot of our colleges and universities in the state do that. So St. Mike's, Champlain, Vermont State University. So be on the lookout for those. And you were very good at telling our audience about how to get in touch with our family readiness and family programs. So look on the Vermont Family Programs website, Vermont National Guard Family Programs. You can Google it, and it will bring you to the information you're going to need to find out to get to all these great events.
Yeah. All right. What's your favorite sports team?
My favorite sports team, this isn't going to be very popular here in Vermont, Gabby, so I don't know how long I'll be the Adjutant General, but the New York Yankees. I grew up outside of New York, so I know this is Red Sox Nation up here, so I have to put that out there.
Just starting to like you, too.
I know. I'm sorry. It's too bad.
Yeah.
But we'll see. It's early in the baseball season. I think the Yankees are doing well. I know the Red Sox have started off with a couple wins. So, there's room for all kinds of fans of the Vermont Guard.
I hope we beat you guys, but...
That's fair.
Good luck.
That's fair. Thank you. You too.
All right. So if you could have any superpower, what would you have and why?
Wow. Any superpower. This is thought-provoking. I would say the superpower for eternal life, because I like living. And so maybe, some sort of ghost type superpower. So my spirit can live on forever, and I can continue helping people into eternity.
We had very different thoughts on that one, because I was like, I can haunt my siblings forever.
So what your superpower would be?
Oh, that's really interesting. I think as an athlete, I'd love to have super speed, because home runs every time I hit.
There you go.
Just lay down a bunt and get home in no time. But if I was outside of athletics, probably telekinesis, being able to move things with my mind.
Okay.
That'd be cool.
All right. You thought about this. This is neat. All right.
So many away game conversations where we have this question. It's
okay. Good stuff. I look forward to hearing more.
Oh, yeah, definitely. All right. Be honest. What are your thoughts on pineapple on pizza?
Pineapple pizza. I like Hawaiian pizza.
I like you again.
Okay, thank you. We got over the baseball. No, Hawaiian is one of my favorite ones, and then you can add even a little bacon in there.
Yeah.
Bacon makes everything better.
I think it's overhated. I think people just don't accept that it can be a good thing.
It's a good thing.
It is a good thing.
Oh,
I think
we can agree on that. Let's shake on that. Very good.
I think it's just, you get the sweet and the savory, and ham and bacon, and just, it's such a good thing that people they hate it to hate it.
They need to give it another try.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm all for second chances. Okay, last question. What's the coolest thing you've checked off your bucket list?
The coolest thing I've checked off my bucket list is probably flying the F-16, which I did for the military for a number of years. So it was a goal of mine, a dream of mine, and through a lot of help and a lot of good mentorship and leadership along the way, I was able to do that. So still have very fond memories of being a fighter pilot.
I think that's really cool. I think that's something that a lot of people would envy, be willing to sit and hear you talk about for hours.
Well, I'm willing to do that, and there's Gabby. Do you ever know how to know when there's a fighter pilot in the room?
I do not.
They'll tell you.
That's good.
All right. Well, thank you for this time today. It's been very enjoyable, and I can't wait to link you up with one of our recruiters. You said you're how old now?
18.
Okay, you can join up.
Believe me, I've been told several times by previous Adjutant Generals.
Okay. Well, I'm going to close the deal on this one. And I just want to thank our wonderful civilians and military folks, Title V federal civilians, everybody in the Vermont National Guard that works with our family readiness and family programs. You do amazing work, and I'm here to support you, and thank you for what you do.
I want to thank my mom, because she helped me be able to do this, and Germ, who's our amazing media person.
Yeah.
And I guess everyone else who's out there serving and whatnot, but he already covered that.
And thanks to our members as well. Appreciate that you raise your right hand to swear an oath to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of Vermont. What you do is incredibly powerful and helpful, and the citizens of Vermont thank you, and I thank you.
Thank you for joining me on Kitchen Boots and Combat Boots. See you next time.
For more information or support, please reach out to the Vermont Military Family Support Center's toll-free number, 888-607-8773. The preceding content does not constitute endorsement by the Department of the U.S. Army, U.S. Air Force, Vermont National Guard, or Vermont Military Family Programs of the organization's products and services contained therein. Further, the Vermont Military Family Programs assumes no responsibility for the consequences of using the products or services provided by the organizations or resources listed. Vermont Military Family Programs makes every effort to present our clients with reputable resources. We cannot guarantee the validity of said resources, and the use of such resources is voluntary.